all footy fans. But imagine if you're the mum of twin boys and they're both playing in the biggest game of their lives. Sportsworld's Neil Kearney has this story on a lion-hearted mother.
We feel for our children and we feel their pain and their joy. And I guess I'm no different from any other mother.
We're very excited and looking forward to the boys putting in their best performance.
Lynn Scott took her family to their first grand final yesterday. Well, all but two of them. Lynn brought up 5 children virtually single-handed after her husband Colin died as a result of asthma following war service in Vietnam. The twins, Chris and Brad, were just 8 years old when they lost their father.
Dad flew reconnaissance planes over in Vietnam and was lucky enough to be have the Distinguished Flying Cross bestowed upon him, and apparently that's one of the higher medals that can be awarded in battles. You know, we're really proud of him.
We're very close because of that, and I guess I was the one doing all the ferrying backwards and forwards. I didn't always fill that gap.
The gap of not having a father?
No, not at all, although I thought I was.
It's the Thursday before the grand final, and 3 of Lynn's children have come for dinner.
I think we're all pretty relaxed. I think we're probably more nervous than Chris and Brad are.
The twins are in Melbourne but are staying away from the family, trying to avoid the anticipation and tension of their clan.
I was as nervous as all get out before last Saturday's game, but they weren't.
How's Mum?
Mum's hopeless in front of the footy at any time.
He wants Scott. He might have to soccer off the ground. He picks it up. He controls it, and he kicks the opening goal. Brad Scott.
How nervous did you get last week?
Very nervous. I was churned up all day and, you know, I've had cold sores breaking out and all sorts of awful things.
Lynn works 12 hours a day running a news agency in suburban Melbourne, but all she can think of this week is her children. Chris was a schoolboy when he left Melbourne to join the then Brisbane Bears, to be followed by Brad.
The biggest difference for me is having the boys so far away, particularly the very vulnerable years when Chris first went to Brisbane. He was only 17, did his year 12 at boarding school in Brisbane. Things, you know, are different now, and the boys have grown up and have their own lives, but you don't love them any the less because they're independent.
Okay, Chris, this is for 21 years of suffering. It's payback.
We always did things together, Chris and I, and we played a lot of, you know, tennis, footy, whatever it was together, and you know, golf, and you know, it's always good to have someone there to muck around with.
Mum, after a while, just couldn't be bothered umpiring, so it was just left up to us to sort our battles out ourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to Melbourne the Brisbane Lions.
Adele Scott, the boys' 80-year-old grandmother, has unexpectedly flown in this morning from Brisbane.
I got a flight this morning.
At 6 o'clock this morning. And you got here and then you've fallen over.
Yes.
What happened to you?
Oh, cut my elbow and got a whack on my head and, oh God, you know.
Anything my grandson's doing, an occasion for me.
She's pretty keen on the boys.
Mum's their greatest fan, and their other grandma, of course.
It's grand final day, and as well as 80-year-old Adele, the lady in the wheelchair is the twins' other grandmother, Jessie. She's 92, and there's no stopping any of them from witnessing the day that the twins play in the grand final.
Oh, I reckon it's absolutely fabulous, fabulous.
Fabulous. You haven't won yet.
We're going to, though.
Brad Scott is a fierce tackler. It's a feature of his game, and he's got it locked up. James Hird has been a question mark over his groin all week. No doubt he'll be tested early.
Got to kick away to centre wing. Scott held on to, should get a free kick, he does. So Chris Scott from centre wing.
Here's a good effort in a one-on-one against a bloke a fair bit taller than you. What courage. Scott goes into the middle, gives it to Johnson. He steadies, he shoots towards goal. And he misses. He decides to head to the open spaces. He'll certainly test Hird. Brad Scott is there with him. Scott turns him inside out, and he's away.
It's only a couple of minutes left.
How would
say you're feeling right now?
Over the moon. Here we are, Fitzroy. This is what it's all about.
Brisbane have won the premiership. And they've beaten the champs. And they've beaten them emphatically.
Chris and Brad Scott play manful roles in Brisbane's first premiership. But before anything else after the grand final, there are a few old ladies that they need to hug.
Cheery old day, that one. We're going to catch up with the Lions after this.